Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this video. We are going to talk about palettes. Good palettes, great palettes in different categories. I don't know exactly what I'm calling this video, but I mean you can see the title down here what I decided to call it. But I was given the suggestion from one of you when I was doing my top 3 in every makeup category, because I can't do just 3 favorite eyeshadow palettes. And one of you gave me the suggestion, then why don't you do top 3 eyeshadow palettes in different categories? And this comment was like best 3 neutral ones, best 3 monochromatic ones, best 3 rainbow ones. And I thought that that was a really good suggestion. So today we are doing that. I am gonna leave the categories that I chose for myself down in the description box in case you're interested too. And if you haven't been here before, hello, my name is Angie. I'm such a lover of beauty makeup. I love everything beauty makeup related, especially eyeshadows, and you are gonna see that because I have a lot of fun eyeshadow palettes to show you. And if you want to see some more makeup in the timeline, if you want to see some more eyeshadow palettes on the timeline, please do subscribe because I upload 5 videos a week. I did film this look. I'm not 100% sure if it's live or not, but I will link all the things that I'm using either in the description box or in the pinned comment depending on how much space I have. And if the look is already up, I will leave a link to the look as well. But yeah, I did film it, so either it's already up or it's coming. Just check the description box and the pinned comment. And like I said, I will put the categories that I'm picking for this, I will put it in the description box in case you want to do this yourself. If you're like a YouTuber and you want to do this yourself, please do, because I love watching other people talk about eyeshadow palettes. It's literally one of the best things ever. So if you do this, please do tag me. I would love to see your pics. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, feel free to answer it in the comments. Like I said, I love hearing about people's favorites. I think we all agreed that this top 3 makeup products in every category, that Julia Adams actually started this trend, so I will leave her video down below. I'm just like extrapolating on that idea and I'm just bringing it into palettes because palettes is my passion, eyeshadow is my passion. So we are gonna do top 3 in different categories, and I want to start with neutrals. Because neutrals isn't really my jive. Not that I hate them, I just don't reach for them. Like if I can pick, which I always can of course, but if I'm not filming anything super specific, if I just can sit down and do my makeup, I almost never reach for neutrals because I like it. I think it's pretty, it looks gorgeous on others, I like it on myself, but it just doesn't bring me the same joy as colors do. It's just a matter of preference. But I do have quite a few neutral palettes still, and quite a few that are really good quality. And these answers are basically gonna be me, what I thought when I was thinking about these questions, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. So this could change, but I'm just giving you some options. So the first one that I want to pick is actually this one. This is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette, and this is such a beautiful neutral palette. This one has a row of like cool tones with these 2 blue ones here, so it's like a pop of blue but in a very interesting way. Then it is a row of matte browns, and then it is a row of like shimmery metallic neutral colors because they have this bronze and this like tarnished like this is like a brownie, almost copper, and then you have this bronze, silver, aluminum, beige. I don't know how to describe this, but basically this is a dark and moody and mysterious and dramatic neutral palette that is neutral without, according to me, being too plain. So I really do enjoy this one, and this one I actually have reached for. Just on the like, I want to wear some fun makeup, I want to wear something cool. I have been reaching for this one, and also packaging is 10 out of 10. The next one I want to mention is one that I just recently reviewed, and I said when I reviewed this that this quality is bomb.com. That's really, really good quality. It's just not a color story that I reach for that much. But if I'm gonna be honest, if I'm reaching for a neutral palette, this could definitely be the one because it is a very interesting color story. It has some like almost plummy browns and some like muted like clayey oranges without being too warm. It's like a cool toned grungy neutral palette with some very interesting textures. It also has some duochromes in here, like this is a duochrome, this is a duochrome, it goes some light, like it's really nice. And I think that this is a very interesting neutral palette. I did bring this one when I was going on vacation lately, and I really did enjoy it. I had some really fun looks from it. So yeah, I do recommend that palette. I think it's a really fun one. And if you own neutral palettes and you don't really want to venture out, like you own what you own and you like your neutrals, all 3 of these palettes are neutrals that I recommend if you want to still be in the neutral spectrum but maybe just get something that's a little bit different. So the last one is going to be the Warrior by Nyqvist. This is the Warrior one. This is pretty old, but this is something that again I have been using behind the scenes. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey before the Urban Decay Naked Honey. It is a very yellow leaning neutral palette. All browns and beiges and golds, but all very yellow leaning. So these are warm without being reddish or orange, and these are stunning. So beautiful. This is a beautiful palette. If these are your kind of tones and you don't want to spend the money on a honey palette, or maybe you just want to support an indie brand instead, this is available. I think this is available at Ulta. I will try and, like I said, I will try and link everything down below, but just a very stunning palette, high quality neutrals. So if I want to have something that's actually like more a classic neutral look, but I don't want to go orange, this is high quality and it just looks very striking on the eyes. Next category is rainbow palettes. It's gonna be my top 3 rainbow palettes, like the palettes that I reach for when I want a rainbow palette, and rainbow palettes that I would recommend to you if you're looking for a rainbow palette. I see a lot of YouTube videos where every colorful palette is just being named a rainbow palette, but for me a rainbow palette is a palette that has the colors of the rainbow. For me, a pinky bluish palette with a pop of green, that's not a rainbow palette, that's a colorful palette. But I totally realized that I own a lot of colorful palettes and quite a lot of rainbow palettes, so I might have more things to choose from that other creators might have. So if you do want to film this yourself, I will just put like top 3 rainbow / colorful palettes, because I realized that maybe not everyone has even 3 rainbow palettes to put in this category, but these are the 3 rainbow palettes that I am gonna mention. First one is gonna be Glamlight Cake Palette. This palette, first of all, it's not one of those weird shapes. This is quite easy to store. I stored this together with my other palettes. It does have a mirror on the inside, and it's just a very bright, colorful palette. It is a little matte heavy. Personally, I like that because I love mattes. I love colorful mattes, and this is just such a great palette to either do a look on its own, because it goes from light to a little darker here, but it's also one of those palettes that you can mix and match with other things. If you want to make it more purple, you want to make it more red or pink, like I love this palette. I really do love this palette. I also love that there are 2 yellows, a matte and a shimmer. The only downfall I would say with this palette is that it only has 1 green, but this is a really great palette. I really enjoy it. Bought this myself, and if you're wondering about what things I bought myself and what things were sent to me in PR, I'm gonna mark that in the description box. But this one I bought myself, even though I do have a Kobe Glamlight, but I just think that this is a stunning, bright and fun rainbow palette. The next one I'm gonna mention is the Capricorn palette by Alien Cosmetics. This is one that I would recommend because it is a little bit different. This goes even darker with this one. This one is just a mix of brights and a little bit more grayed out grunge shades. This is just, it has a little bit more of an interesting tone to it. I love this dark green here. This is an all matte palette, but these 2 mattes here does have a little micro shimmer in it when you look in the pan, but you don't really see it when you mix it on your eyes. But yeah, I do think that if you wanted to add like a rainbow palette, because honestly, this is me, this is my opinion, I do think that if you love eyeshadow and if you love playing with eyeshadow and if you love discovering new looks and stuff, one rainbow palette in your collection is a pretty good investment, and I really do enjoy this one. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit with this one. First of all, it is humongous, but this is a really good, like if you're gonna get one really colorful palette, maybe you don't want a full collection of all colors, you do get so much in this one. Why I'm saying it's cheating is because there is actually not a yellow in here. This is like a mustard, but there is no yellow, so technically is this a rainbow palette? It's like, I don't know if it's anything to argue with, but this is very pink purple heavy. So if you were wanting to invest in something that has a lot of shades for you to choose from, you don't want to get a lot of like colorful palettes, and you also feel like pinky purples or like berries is your safe zone, which they are a more wearable color. Like a lot of people feel less scared using pinks and purples and greens. I do think that this will be a really good addition to your collection. This is a really great palette. It doesn't have a straight up yellow and it only has 2 blues down here, but I don't think that if you're not like a super lover of color, maybe just having 2 blues is fine, because a lot of people do feel like blues is like, blue eyeshadow is like the scary territory. Myself, I love it, but I totally understand. So these are going to be my 3 rainbow palettes. Now I want to talk about my top 3 monochromatic palettes. I had a little bit of fun with this one. Listen, I love the monochromatic trend. I'm a little bit over it right now, if I'm gonna be totally honest, but I still think it was such a fun trend, and I feel like it could be done in such a good way. This is one of my favorites. This is one of my most used palettes in my collection. I love the Colourpop Blue Moon because I feel like this is a really good monochromatic palette. It has 9 shades, which is a lot of blue shades, but again, if you want to play with blue, this is a perfect palette to add to your collection because you have light mattes, you have dark mattes, mid-tones, dark shimmers, this very like iridescent blue shimmer, and some mid-tones to choose from. This, and it also, this is blue, and this is something that I've talked about before. I feel a lot of times when brands are doing a pop of blue, or where brands are doing like something that's supposedly blue, I always feel like it's mint or teal or turquoise. It's never blue, and this is blue, and that is one of the reasons why I love it so much, because I just really enjoy this one. It is a more affordable way to inject some blue into your collection, and I also feel like this is an all-around good palette that you can do really fun looks with just this one. Like, you don't have to add anything else. I had to mention this one because I feel like this is such a good palette. This is the Cherry on Top palette by BH Cosmetics. I'm not 100% sure that this is still available. I try to only pick palettes here that are still available. Like, that is the reason why I'm not mentioning my collab with Kaleidos, because it's not available anymore. But I think that this red one is still available. This is a monochromatic palette, but what I like about this one is that it's like monochromatic but still playing with the theme, because it is going from red to pink. Red and pink is still monochromatic because pink is red mixed with white. So I think that this is a monochromatic palette done really good. You have 2 reds, like a shimmery one and a matte one, that are really dark. Then you have 2 mid-tone, one leaning a little bit more orange, one leaning a little bit more pink. You have a like a bright pink shimmer, like a corally, more icy shimmer, icy pink, like bubblegum, light pink, and then you have this beautiful light pink, warm light pink, like matte. And this is just, first of all, the quality is 10 out of 10. An amazing red eyeshadow palette, but you can also make some really interesting looks here, because you can make it all red, but you can also mix and match to make it more coral or to make it more pink. And I just, red and pink together, beautiful. Red and peach together, wonderful. I love the combo myself. I just think it's so pretty. So for me, this is just a monochromatic palette done right. Now I want to mention something that's a bit of an unsung hero. This is the, I think it's called Citronada. This is from Glam Shop, and this is their yellow monochromatic palette. This is so beautiful. I like this way more than I like the Honey by Colourpop. One of the reasons why I don't think the Honey is as good as this one is because yellow mattes, I mean, if you go too deep, it's a brown. That's the biggest issue. You have one mustard matte here and you have a yellow matte. Maybe this could have benefited from having, this one is a duochrome. It is a very strong yellow sheen. I don't know if you can see it in here, but like maybe this could have benefited from having a like a pastel yellow matte. But I feel like if you like yellow, you have 2 yellow mattes, and then you just have a bunch of different yellow duochromes, shimmers. Like this one is like one of those sheer bases with a strong yellow sheen. This one is so pretty because this one is a like a yellow base, and then there is a pink shift. I don't know if you can see, but it's just so pretty. And this palette is just so interesting, and it's a palette that I've reached for quite a lot to like add to looks, because this yellow here, it's truly an extraordinary yellow shimmer. I can't explain like how striking that is. Like you can see, you have eyes. You can see the spectacularness of this shadow. I also wanted to talk about my like top 3 small palettes, like mini palettes, like quads, minis, smaller palettes, stuff that I love bringing traveling, stuff that I like complementing other looks with. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of like different ones that I think are really good. If you want to do this and you want to add like top 3 big palettes, that's perfectly fine. For me, I think the top 3 big palettes, I don't know, I don't use that many big palettes unless they're like those kind of rainbow palettes, so I don't know how different that would be from like the rainbow category. But I wanted to mention mini palettes, and the first one I want to mention is this Urd from Oden's Eye. I absolutely love this one. This is like a cool tone grungy green color story, but it has this grayish metallic here, and then this like peachy, it's hard to explain, it's like a peach shimmer that's just a bit different, and this super cool like grungy, absolutely so dark plum that can take this look in a totally different direction. There are so many ways that you can go with this palette. The quality is definitely there, and the textures and just the color, it just goes together. And I've brought this traveling more than once, or like traveling, like, you know, even if you go to like an overnight or something, because I just think that this is such a good palette. I think that this is the best mini palette that they've done, and I really enjoy it. This green here, so stunning. Should I really be covering myself with even more shimmers? I don't know if that's a good idea. I tried to get this yellow off, but it didn't go, like you can see. But look at that green. Oh, such a pretty shade. I'm gonna have green everywhere, am I not? These are the mini palettes by Natasha Denona. I love the mini palettes by Natasha Denona. I think these are really good quality. The only one that isn't like 10 out of 10 is the mini Tropic. I didn't love that one. I still think it's good, but it's not my absolute favorite. This is the mini Love. According to me, this is the best one, but I love all the ones I've tried. I will say I have not tried the Sunset, and I have heard some mixed reviews on it, and I have not tried the mini Lila. Also heard some mixed reviews on that. But other than that, I think that you get really good, the normal Natasha Denona quality, but in a mini format. And like I said, this mini Love, or it's not the same shades that are in the Love palette. This is complementing shades. And again, you can go light or dark, or more like, this is a pink bronze duochrome, like more of a champagne-y, pinky champagne-y metallic. And then you have this pinky peachy metallic here. Like you can go in so many different directions. And I really, like, look at how small and cute these are. Really, really recommend these. I think they're great. Okay, this is something that I have recently like discovered. I didn't discover. What am I? Columbus didn't discover shit either. But that's besides the point. This is the ColourPop Astrology quads, and I will say I do think that the other quads from ColourPop have a similar, at least the ones that I've tried, have a similar quality. These are great. They are so good. Like if you want to buy a small thing like this, these are great. This is the Secret Life of a Scorpio. So good. I do have a video where I'm using these. So good. This is another one of my favorites, Tender Loving Cancer. This is a duochrome. Oh, these are great. These are great, and ColourPop makes really great eyeshadows. And if you have never tried ColourPop, and if you don't want to commit to a big palette, buy one of these quads in a colorway that you like and just test it out, because this is the good ColourPop quality. Big fan. Big fan. Okay, let's do top 3 budget or like affordable palettes. And affordable, it's all like a matter of opinion, if we're gonna be honest. Like, what do we think is affordable? But I am gonna pick brands that are overall seen as affordable, and you can at least find them at Ulta. We don't have drugstores in Sweden, so for me it's really hard to be like drugstore makeup, because we don't have drugstores in Sweden. And also a lot of the drugstore brands like Physicians Formula and Milani and Elf, they're not affordable here. I come from another perspective when it comes to drugstore makeup, but I want to talk about like affordable makeup, things you can find at Ulta that I think are really, really good. First I want to mention this one, again, ColourPop, but this is, listen, this is the best palette that they have done this year. This is incredible. This is a neutral palette with the pop of blue and green done right, because you have a matte blue, a matte green, and then you have this like dark green and like a lime green shimmer, and then you have an olive green shimmer, and then just neutrals that goes together, and it's just such a sexy and just mysterious and wonderful color story. And quality is A+. Best palette, I'm telling you, best palette the ColourPop has done this year. It's a bit of a different color story. It is definitely the good sport of 2021. Don't sleep on this palette if you do think that this color story would complement your collection. It's good. Who's surprised that I'm mentioning? Listen, raise your hand if you're surprised that I am mentioning the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris. No one? No one? Okay, no one's surprised. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful palette. I think that this might be the most expensive one out of all of these. I think these are like $18 or something. But you get 16 different shades, and this has a fantastic, sexy, again, sexy, mysterious color story that will take you from every day to like New Year's Eve party, because you have some more lighter ones here that you can use, and you can deepen it up with a couple of these just a little bit if you want to, but you can also go full in sexy vixen New Year's Eve celebration with this one. Love it. Passion in Paris is a really good name for this, even though I'm not 100% sure that I think that this color story represents like Paris, but I'll let it slide. Awesome quality. This quality is so good that if you put this in my hand, took away the BH Cosmetics logo and said that this was Anastasia, I'd be like, okay, I'll buy it. Sure, I'm sure it is. It's just a really, really good color story. Red, purple, it has a teal here, some blues. It's just sexy and amazing quality. 10 out of 10 recommend both of these. Really good ones. I also wanted to mention these. I think that like I did give this good reviews when we talked about it, but I really think that these like palettes that were released by Juvia's Place, these are really good, like high quality good palettes. They come in 2 colorways. They do have more 6-pan than these, but I'm pretty sure that these were released this year. This is the bronze rustic. This is like a neutral color story with a pop of a bright like corally orange and a mustard yellow. Pretty palette, awesome quality. If these are your kind of shades, it's a more compact palette, and these are a little bit more affordable than the other ones. And this one is called Blushed Rose. This is more my color story because the pink and the red again. If you wanted to try the pink and red color story, this is a really good option. I also love the pop of this like almost like clementine sexy metal. I'm using sexy way too many. I'm getting demonetized. Don't monetize me. I'm only talking about eyeshadows, I promise. Please and thank you. Beautiful palette. These metallics are great. These shimmers are great, and this red actually goes pretty deep. So yeah, I definitely recommend these, and overall I recommend Juvia's Place eyeshadows if you wanted to try something high pigmented that is just a little bit more affordable. I think the only palette that I've tried from Juvia's Place where I've been like, I don't know about this one, is that Mini Taupe. I didn't really love that one. I didn't think the pigmentation was really there, and it's also not my color story, but that's the only one that I've tried where I've been like, I don't know about this one. So I would say overall I recommend palettes from Juvia's Place, but maybe not the Mini Taupe. If you wanted to have that color story, I would go with another brand. Okay, if we had top 3 affordable, we have to have top 3 high-end luxury. And I realized I don't have that many like luxury eyeshadows other than Natasha Denona, but I love Natasha Denona quality. Do I have a full video ranking her palettes? Maybe I should have that. Maybe I should do. Are you interested in that? Would you be interested in seeing that? Because I have quite a lot of her palettes, but I tried to go to Sephora and I was like, you know, sort the palette via most expensive to least expensive. And the ones that I owned are mainly Natasha Denona. I also own one from Pat McGrath, but it's not my absolute favorite eyeshadow formula. I personally prefer Natasha Denona, even though I know others feel differently. But if you have the same preferences with eyeshadow as me, you might also maybe want to go with the Natasha Denona over Pat McGrath. I also feel with Natasha Denona you can sample her formula with these smaller ones. So I wanted to talk initially about Natasha Denona. First I wanted to talk actually about this one. I brought it out just to show. This is the original big Metropolis palette. She does have a mini now for holiday, and I do recommend that one as well. This is the big one. Listen, see this as a warning. I could only find this in stock in, was it? I'm not sure, but I will link down below. But I was looking. I couldn't find it in stock anywhere in Sweden. It has been on sale in Sweden, which usually means that they're discontinuing it. It is not on Beautylish. It's not on Natasha Denona's website. It is not on like Cult Beauty. I think, because this is the holiday release of 2019, I think this is being discontinued. So if you had been eyeing this one and if you did want to get it, I would, where would I see it? I think it was Sephora, but I will leave it in the link down below. And that's the reason why I want to mention the retro instead, because I love the retro. I'm even wearing the retro today. I'm actually wearing the Natasha Denona retro and glam today. Like I said, if I have the look live, I will link it down below. This is a beautiful palette. I think I love this a bit more because of the color story. It reminds me a little bit of the Lush Life actually from... It reminds me... Let's compare that in a minute. But I do think that this is discontinued and there's only a few left. This is a beautiful palette though. I love this one, and this is also more affordable than this one. I think this is the $65 palette. I'm wearing these two and this one today. Those are the 3 shades that I'm wearing, and this one in my inner corners, and then I'm having some shades from the Glam palette on my lid. This one, you can go more cool tone taupe if you keep like these shades together and don't dip into the berries. You can keep it more like rosewood and more like a warm pink if you keep it over here, and you can go more plummy purple. There are different ways you can go with this palette, and what I really love, not only is this palette great quality, not only does this palette have several of my favorite formulas from Natasha Denona, which is the cream to powder, it also goes from very light to very dark if you layer these like darker shades and then the powder on top. And it has different formulas, different shimmer formulas, some more like metallic shimmers, some more sparkly. It is just a very well-rounded palette if you like rosy tones and plums, which I do. Definitely recommend this palette. This was #1 spot of me ranking all my purchases from last month. 10 out of 10 recommend. Here's another palette that I really recommend, and I felt like this one flew a little bit under the radar. I'm not 100% sure why. This is the Viseart Attendu Violette palette. This is so beautiful. I bought this one and I did a look with it for Christmas last year. I'm pretty sure. Why are there still flies here? I don't understand. Where are you coming from? What are you eating? What's going on? It literally just flew by me. Should I be worried that there are circling flies around me? This is like the beginning of a Bailey Serium video and my like neighbor is hiding dead bodies in the attic. I'm worried. These are some of the best matte purple shadows I've ever tried. And I love... These might all seem a little similar. They're a little similar, I'm gonna be honest. One of these could have been a shimmer. But the shimmers are great in this palette. The mattes are great in this palette. These 2 purple, like matte... Like all of these 4 purple mattes, I'm gonna be honest. Extraordinary. And then you have these more neutrally taupe shades, are very pigmented, and you can do a look and just keep it neutral, or you can mix it in with some purples. This one is a gray to purple duochrome. Stunning. This whole palette, very stunning palette, very great quality, and like I said, some of the best matte purples I've ever tried. This is a beautiful palette. Let's look at the Metropolis. I forgot. Let's look at the Metropolis and the Lush Life. Are these similar? Is this why I'm loving this so much? They do have a little similar vibe to them. They're not twins, but they're definitely somewhat in the same ballpark. Like, they have the same vibe. They're shopping at the same stores, but maybe not the same items. Last palettes, and these are more high-end than luxury, and that is actually going to be me mentioning the Anastasia palettes. These are my 2 favorite ones, so if you like color, there are still options. I don't know if this one is still available though, and this is why I brought this one out. This is the Amrezy palette. I hate the press glitters in this one. I hate the press glitters in this one. I hope we never get to see it again. I saw the Primrose palette in store. It is so pretty. I was so close to just snagging it, then it like just going home with it. But this is a beautiful palette. I've done so many looks with this one. I think it's so stunning. And this one has a lot of different textures, even though I kind of wish that these glitter textures just didn't exist. Like, who thought of that? But a beautiful palette, and it's like a half neutral, half colorful palette. But this one, I actually initially had this in my like favorite neutral palette because I feel like this is like pink and purples but toned down in a way that they are almost neutrals. But then I realized that it maybe fits a bit better in the high-end category, and I really recommend this one. It's still available. I think it's a beautiful purchase. It's one of those palettes that I had no plans on buying. I even roasted this. I was like, why would you buy it? Like, I didn't like it. I still don't think that this orange makes sense here. I wish that this was a darker purple instead. I'm standing by that. I still think that that would have made more sense in this palette. Not every palette needs a warm brown. I know, unpopular opinion, but that is just how I feel. But great quality, great shades, love the shimmer options. This one that's called Wild Child is just an incredibly stunning wearable pink without being as poppy as the one in the Amrezy palette. I just think that this is a really good palette, and I kind of hope that I really did like the Primrose palette in store, but I didn't buy it because it wasn't like, it was a little bit too neutral. These had a little bit more pops than that one, but I'm kind of hoping that they will bring out something. The next palette that they bring out, I hope it's going to be something like this, something that is neutral but still with a pop and still with a tone to it, so it appeals to both people who love neutrals and people who love colors. Because I feel like that is, I think that like that's what brands are trying to do right now. Palettes that are a little bit on the neutral side but still has a twist to them, so they don't seem too redundant or too repeating to what's already on the market. But yeah, those were my palettes, those were my picks. What do you think? Did I miss something? And like I said, this was just how I felt the day before yesterday when I was just picking these out. There are so many other things that are great in my collection that I could have picked as like winners in the categories as well. I will leave the videos down below where I'm talking about my top 3 in eye and lip products, and also a separate video where I'm talking about my top 3 in every category when it comes to face makeup. And of course I will leave Julia Adams' video down below as well. And also you who gave me the suggestion in the comments, thank you so much. This was very helpful and this was very fun. And if you do the video, please do tag me because I would love to see what other people think. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave because I will have a video tomorrow as well, and I hope you're having a good day and I will see you then. Bye!